All right, so you're thinking about getting a cat. Awesome. But then comes that big question, right? The one that almost everybody gets stuck on. Should I get a boy or a girl? Man, it can send you down a rabbit hole of completely conflicting advice online. So, what's the deal? Is there actually a right answer? Does gender really determine what kind of furry companion you're bringing into your home? Well, the truth is, it's a whole lot more complex, and honestly, way more interesting than you might think. Okay, so before we dive any deeper, let's just get one really important thing straight. We're going to talk about some general tendencies, sure, but every single cat is an individual. Seriously. Just like people, they can totally break the mold. So just remember, their unique personality, that is always the real star of the show. All right, section 1. It's so easy to fall back on simple stereotypes, you know? But the real story here is written in nature's blueprint, not in trying to put cats into these neat little boxes. What we're really digging into are those general, kind of hormone-driven behaviors that act as nature's starting point for a cat's personality. Think of it like a blueprint, right? But it's a blueprint that gets heavily, heavily edited by their environment, their upbringing, and, as we're about to see, one very, very important procedure. And now for the fun part. How do male and female cats typically act? Let's break down the day-to-day behaviors you might see and how they interact with us and, with the world around them. When you look at sociability, you often see two pretty distinct styles. On one side, you have the males. A lot of them are like these little social butterflies, just generally more outgoing, consistently looking for interaction. Then you have the females. They can be more like discerning monarchs, a little more independent, perhaps, and definitely more selective about who they grace with their affection. But let me tell you, when they do form that bond, it is incredibly deep. Their play styles also show a fascinating difference. Many male cats, they just stay goofy and kitten-like well into their adult years. For them, play is often just for fun. Females, though, their play tends to be more calculated. All that pouncing and chasing often perfectly mimics hunting, a behavior that's tied directly to their deep-seated instinct to provide for potential young. And what about how they talk to us? I mean, if you've got a total chatterbox at home, there's a pretty good chance he's a male. They can be absolute vocal virtuosos, using a whole range of meows to get your attention. Females are often the more subtle communicators. They tend to rely on quieter sounds and really rich body language. You just have to be a bit more observant to understand what she's trying to tell you. So, what's the why behind all these behaviors? For females, so much of it boils down to that powerful maternal instinct. They hunt with a purpose. They groom themselves so meticulously, it's almost like a calming, zen-like ritual, and they will fiercely defend their territory to protect their kittens. For them, it's all about survival. Males, on the other hand, are largely freed from those pressures, so they can just be a bit more carefree. Okay, so we've gone through all these general differences, right? But now, it's time for the plot twist, because there is a single factor that impacts a cat's behavior even more than gender: the decision to spay or neuter. Let's go back to that blueprint analogy. If genetics and gender provide the initial sketch, then spaying or neutering is what truly colors in the final picture. This one simple procedure dramatically levels the behavioral playing field between males and females. It's a game changer, and I mean the shift in behavior is just dramatic. Those intense, hormone-driven habits, like a male cat's urge to roam and spray, or a female's really stressful heat cycles, they get drastically reduced, or in many cases, completely eliminated. The result is a calmer, more content cat no matter their gender. Just take a look at the change in territory size for males. An unneutered male is biologically driven to patrol a huge area looking for mates. But after he's neutered, that urge just plummets. His entire world and his focus shrinks from the whole neighborhood right down to his home and his family. And you know what? This isn't just about behavior. There is a huge health bonus here. The procedure significantly reduces the risk of some really serious health problems for both sexes. Ultimately, what this does is contribute to a healthier and often a much longer life for your cat. It's a total win-win. So with all this in mind, what's really the best way to choose your cat? Well, it means looking way beyond just boy or girl. The right way to choose isn't to start with gender. It's to start with yourself. Think about your lifestyle, your home, what you're really looking for in a companion. And then, and this is the most important part, go meet the cats. Spend time with them, because the whole goal here is to choose based on who they are, not what they are. At the end of the day, this is what matters most. The true essence of a cat, their spirit, their little quirks, their incredible capacity for love, all of that is found in their individual personality. The history they have and the home you provide will shape them far, far more than their gender ever could. So, maybe we've been asking the wrong question all along. It's not really about choosing between male or female. The real question, the one that's way more exciting, is this. Out of all the unique individual little cats waiting in shelters and rescues right now, who is waiting to meet you?